The pyramids, the pharaohs, the mummies, the mysteries of the Nile. Most people know about ancient Egypt, but have you ever wondered how it all started? Before the pyramids, before Cleopatra. Before even writing existed in most of the world, there was Egypt, a land of mystery, a river of life, and a story that began more than 5,000 years ago. This is the true beginning of one of the greatest civilizations in human history. Now let's travel back in time to a land shaped by a river, the Nile. Every year, the Nile flooded the dry desert, leaving behind black, rich soil. This miracle of nature turned barren sands into farmland. It fed the people, gave them water, and connected them from north to south. As the Oxford History of Ancient Egypt says, without the Nile, there would have been no Egypt. Around 4000 BCE, early Egyptians began to settle along the Nile. They built small farming villages, lived close to the river, and learned to grow wheat and barley. These villages grew over the centuries until they formed to great regions, Upper Egypt in the south and Lower Egypt in the north. But these two lands didn't live in peace. They were rivals, trading, clashing, and dreaming of control. Then came a king who changed everything. His name was Narmer, also known as Menes. He united the two lands around 3100 BCE. He wore a special crown, white for Upper Egypt, red for Lower Egypt, now combined. He became the first pharaoh, not just a king, but a god on earth, his job. To protect Egypt and uphold Mot, the ancient Egyptian idea of balance, truth, and cosmic order, Narmer founded Memphis, Egypt's first capital city. It sat between the two regions. The perfect place to rule them both. From there, he built a new kind of kingdom, organized, centralized, eternal, and what made Egypt different from other ancient societies. The Egyptians believed their world was held together by balance. Every part of life, from farming to prayer, had to follow Mot. The king wasn't above the law. He was part of the divine system that kept the world in order. During this time, the early dynastic period, Egypt saw amazing growth. The first hieroglyphs were carved. Temples were built. Tombs became larger and more complex. Gods like Horus and Ra became central to Egyptian life. This was the foundation, the start, the moment Egypt went from simple villages to a mighty civilization. From here, Egypt would go on to build pyramids, rule empires, and inspire the world for millennia. But it all began with a flood, a crown, a king, and a belief that harmony could last forever. Narmer wasn't the only powerful ruler during this time. In the south, a king named Ahame ruled from the city of Nakoda. His reign marked the beginning of the first dynasty in Egypt. Each king was considered a god, and after they died, they were seen as living on in the next king. For example, King Ahame been followed by King Bini, who ruled for 36 years, but the throne didn't stay in Nakoda forever. Eventually, it moved north up the Nile. By the end of the first dynasty, around 2980 BCE, Memphis was the new capital, and so the cycle continued for many generations. New kings took the throne. Some were strong, some were weak, but each one was chosen by the gods to keep Egypt in balance. What was daily life like during the early dynastic period? Well, imagine living in a bustling city like Memphis. You might be a farmer working the fields outside the city walls, bringing food to the growing population. Or maybe you're a scribe recording important information on papyrus. Life wasn't always easy. There were droughts and floods, famines and battles, but through it all, the Egyptians had their religion, building huge temples to gods like Ra. Horus and Anubis helped them explain the world around them and gave them hope for the future. When someone died, they believed their soul went on a journey through the underworld. To help them on their way, family members built elaborate tombs filled with treasures and offerings. Some tombs were simple. while others became magnificent pyramids. But why do we remember Egypt today? Why did their culture last thousands of years? Part of it was their religion. Unlike many other ancient cultures, the Egyptians never gave up their faith, even as they changed and grew, and that's something we can learn from them, no matter what challenges we face. We can keep our beliefs and values strong, just like the ancient Egyptians did, so let's raise a glass to the early Egyptians and their amazing story. From humble beginnings on the banks of the Nile to becoming one of the most powerful civilizations in history, they showed us what's possible when people work together to achieve great things. Next time, let's explore the rise of the Old Kingdom, where pharaohs built the first pyramids and gods were carved into stone. Who knows what secrets we'll uncover next? Stay tuned. Until then, keep learning and stay curious. The past is full of surprises, and we're just getting started.